in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act 10:4-6 at SEEK. Annual notice having been forwarded to the New Jersey Herald and the New Jersey Sunday Herald and posted on the bulletin board maintained in the municipal building for public announcements. Would you please rise and join us for a salute to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the
republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Danielle, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Bongiovanni? Mr. Duncan? Mr. Gaffney?
Yes.
Mrs. Kroc?
Yes.
Mr. Ray? Mr. Riley?
Here.
Mr. Toppin?
Here.
Councilman Schindler? He was here. Mayor Francis?
Here.
Mr. Gilbert?
Here, we do have a quorum. We have received communication from Justin Lejo that he is resigning from the board. Reason being, he has moved out of town. And Mr. Duncan is in Florida awaiting the birth of his newest grandson at the moment. Minutes of the meeting of March 16th, 2021 have been distributed electronically. Are there any additions or corrections? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion for approval of those minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Gaffney?
Yes.
Mrs. Kroc?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Toppin?
Yes.
Councilman Schindler?
Yes.
Mayor Francis?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
Yes. We have no continued applications tonight, so we'll go right to the new applications. Matt Riskuski, block
Ruskowitz.
40208, lot 27, 506 Brooklyn Mountain Road. Are you here?
Yes, I
There
am
he
here.
is. Matt Rusk.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Would you please raise your hand and Bill will swear you in?
Yes, please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And your name again, sir?
Matt Ruskowitz.
And are you the property owner or are you a contract purchaser of the
I
property?
am a contract buyer of the property.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Ruskowitz, did you receive Mr. Rushke's letter of February 18th, 2021?
Yes, I did.
Okay, let's go right to the technical review. The maintenance requirements for the seepage pit are noted on the plans. An O&M manual should be provided and manual should be referenced in the property deed. Any problem with that?
No problem with that.
Okay. Soil borings or test pits should be conducted in the vicinity of the proposed dry wells to verify soil conditions. Full drainage of the dry wells within 72 hours should be verified based on soil conditions. Any problem with that?
No, we actually did that a couple weeks ago and the soil was very sandy. It's not rocky. We're gonna have no problems with the pits working properly.
Okay. Road opening permit will be required for all utility connections within Brooklyn Mountain Road. Should be noted on the plans.
Yes, and I believe that was added to the plans and we will be in the road for the water and sewer hookup because this lot has public water and public sewer.
Good. And at any point during construction, if there are field changes necessitating retaining wall in excess of 4 feet in height, signed and sealed stability calculations will be required.
Yes, and that's not an issue. I don't foresee that any of the walls will change in height.
Right. Okay. On the plans, I note two things. First, on the left side, is that
Yes.
a retaining wall that comes onto the property from the adjoining property?
Yes, that is an encroachment of a old retaining wall that must have been built by a previous owner of the neighboring house.
Okay.
We also have walls on the front right that Oh, never mind. But yes, that wall on the left is from the neighbors.
Right, and is that going to remain?
We're probably going to remove it. As you go up the sides of the house, we designed this in a way that we're really not altering the grade between our house and the neighbor's property. This was actually our second, we submitted the plan first, and the town engineer had a lot of comments on it, and we redesigned it to have even less grading. So it's almost like we're dropping the house out of the sky, and it almost works perfectly with the neighboring grades on the left and right of the house.
Okay. And in the back left corner,
Yes.
there's also a wall which almost touches the property there.
Yes.
That is not on your property?
No, it doesn't. It's off like a foot maybe.
Okay. All right.
So there's no impact to that. The wall we're doing on the rear of the property is 5 foot in from the property line as required.
Okay. Do you have anything you would like to tell the board before I open it to questions from the board?
No, I'd like to hear the board's questions.
Okay. Board, do you have any questions? Anybody at all?
I have one. You just mentioned that you're going to hook up for sewers.
Yes.
Your drawing shows a septic tank, proposed septic tank.
No, seepage tanks for the
Oh, that's a
driveway.
seepage tank?
Yes,
Sorry, my bad.
no problem.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else from the board?
Let me back up a little bit.
Yes, Bill.
Ruskowitz, you're a contract purchaser of this property,
Yes,
and this is a vacant property, is that correct?
that is correct.
It's an undersized lot.
Yes,
So you're looking for variances for minimum lot size, minimum lot width, minimum front yard setback, rear yard setback. And you're also looking for relief in regard to the height of the building?
that was actually initially when we filed for zoning, the zoning officer thought we were going to need height variance, and we actually don't. The engineer did the calculations, and you also said rear yard setback. We changed the deck steps where we no longer need rear yard setback. It's really just lot width, lot size, and front yard setback. And the front yard setback is so we can match the prevailing setback of the left and right house.
And it looks like you do, right? Okay.
Yes.
Have you given the NASH notices, and for the public, NASH notices or notices to the adjoining owners asking whether they would be interested in purchasing the property and annexing it to their own or selling property, which in this case doesn't look like an option because your neighbors are very close to you?
Yes, I mailed out the Nash letter. No one wanted to purchase the property. I actually sent another letter saying I'd meet with anyone who had any questions on site. I met with the two neighbors on the left and right. They just requested that we put a fence along the left and right side so they could have some more privacy, and that was the only comments I had from any neighboring properties.
Is that something you propose to do?
Yes, you can note that in the minutes in the resolution that we will fence the property from our front corner of our house on each side to the rear property line. A 6 foot tall privacy fence.
That would be a 6 foot wall, 6 foot tall privacy fence, you said?
Yes, that's what the neighbors on the left and right, and they're the ones that are impacted most, and that's all they requested.
Okay. Bill, you'll put that in the resolution? Thank you. Anything else from the board? Any members from the board want to ask any questions at all or make any comments? Seeing none, I will open it to the public. Would anybody from the public like to comment or question this application at all? If you do, please go to the bottom of your screen on the reactions, raise your hand. Seeing none, I will bring it back to the board. Would somebody from the board like to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, that motion includes the provision for the privacy fence.
Yes.
Mr. Gaffney,
Yes.
Mrs. Crock,
yes,
Mr. Riley,
Yes.
Mr. Toppin,
Yes.
Councilman Schindler. Rich,
You're muted, Mark. Rich,
Rich.
you're muted.
Sorry. Yes.
that's okay. Mayor Francis,
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Riskowitz.
Have a good night, guys.
Okay, you
Thank
too.
Good luck.
Bye-bye.
Next, we have Thomas Capo, Block 30408, Lot 19, 235 Lakeside Boulevard. Applicant would like to remove existing garden beds, replace with a greenhouse. And there are some variances. Mr. Capo, are you here alone tonight, or do you have other people who are going to be testifying?
I'm here alone.
Okay, you want to raise your hand, please, and Bill will swear you in.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Mr. Capo, you're the property owner?
Yes.
Okay, I'll start the same way, Mr. Capo. Did you receive the letter from Mr. Rushke? I believe it was dated March 4th, 2021.
Yes.
Okay. And do you have any questions, any problems with any of the 6 technical review items?
No.
None at all?
No, I mean, I think I don't have it in front of me, but everything seemed in line with what I was doing anyway.
All right, you don't have it. I'll go through it one at a time then.
Okay.
First technical review item, subject property contains a 150-foot riparian zone associated with Lake Hopatcong, and it mentions that you have to have a copy of permit by Rule 13, and it's been attached for reference. No problem with that?
No problem.
Okay, number 2, the location of the proposed greenhouse should be adjusted so that it is not directly above the location of the existing dry well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it is, according to the sheet. I mean, that line is right on the very edge of that circle, almost like a tangent line. So I don't think it is over top of the actual dry well part.
Okay, let's go to Mr. Rushke.
Yeah, he is showing it just touching it, but it's not clear exactly. He should just make sure that he's not constructing over it. The dry well, in fact, could be slightly off, and when you're in the field, you could possibly shift the greenhouse. It's a comment, more of a precautionary comment, is don't do it.
Okay. Clarify if the proposed structure will have a foundation. Will it have a foundation, Mr. Capo?
Yeah, a simple, like a floating deck kind of foundation. Like a wooden, there's plans that come with these greenhouse kits that basically are putting down the studs of the deck, and you line up the walls on top of that.
Okay, and it will not impact the existing dry well?
No, it'll just be underneath the greenhouse.
Okay. Testimony should be provided to confirm that utilities will not be connected to the proposed greenhouse, and it will only require a system for capturing rainwater for irrigation. Are you going to have any utilities out there?
The greenhouse has a solar powered fan, so there's no utilities, right? So,
Okay, it's solar powered.
right.
Okay. The 10-foot maple tree in the rear yard, is that going to be removed for the construction of a greenhouse?
Honestly, it's not there. That must have been taken down when they did the retaining wall, or it fell down or something, because I mean, this is all an existing garden bed, and there's no tree.
Yeah, I didn't see any. John, did you see it?
No, at the time I didn't go all the way down.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see it either, Bill.
I didn't either.
Okay. And due to the proximity to Lake Hopatcong, soil erosion and sediment control measures, such as the use of silt fence, should be noted on the plans and utilized during construction.
Okay.
They're going to need to be noted on the plans as well.
So just right at the edge of the greenhouse, we could note a silk fence. Is that what you mean?
John, is that what you mean?
Yeah, I think it even could be a condition of approval. It's not like you're doing a major construction out there, but, you know, the concern is if you're doing your digging and such so close to the lake, just make sure you put a silt fence up and make sure that, you know, the area is stabilized, you're not getting mud into the lake. That's the main concern.
Okay, I mean, it's no problem.
Now, I have a concern that we don't have any drawings, any information at all about the greenhouse. I don't know its dimensions, I don't know its height, nothing.
I sent over the model of it. I mean, I don't know if I could. Yeah. This is what it looks like. I thought I attached this on the paperwork.
Did any of the other board members get that?
No.
I did not.
No.
Oh, really?
Did that come in too late, perhaps?
Yeah, I received it with my application.
Okay, I didn't receive anything.
It was the last page of the application.
Let's see.
And what is the size of it?
10 by 20.
10 by 20.
Yeah.
And the height?
7.5 feet at the top, at the peak.
You sure? It says 12 foot high on the plan. It looks like it's Bill's handwriting or maybe yours.
I think that included in case the property wasn't level, I think it was adding extra height as to not be like so that it wasn't a minimum or maximum requirement. I think Bill added that in case in case I wasn't working on a perfectly level ground, which it's, I mean, it's close, but I guess from the left side of it to the right side of it, it could be a foot or two difference.
Yeah, just looking at the structure, I would suspect that it's like a 10-foot high structure. Because
I might be remembering it wrong, but I thought it was.
It's probably 7.5 foot, doorway, and then you have like 3 feet above that or 2.5 feet above that. So it's probably a 10.
Okay, that might be right. I'm trying to look it up right now.
Shouldn't we ask them to include the plans as part of the approval?
Well, I certainly think it should be if we're going to approve it. I mean, I
don't have it.
I don't have that.
I don't know what mine. I've looked again and again. I can't find it.
Is this building?
prefab? Is this prefab?
Yeah.
So it's
the people you bought it from must have given you some kind of a.
Well, I didn't buy it yet. Well, the picture is, what's being shown on the screen right now. I mean, I could show you the link to Amazon. It's 9 feet. I must have been remembering it wrong. But it says it's 108 inches high is the peak.
9 feet. So is this a kit?
Yeah, it's a I mean, you have to assemble it yourself, but yeah, it's the plan on buying it from Costco.
Is this going to require a building permit or a zoning permit?
Just a zoning. It's under 200 square feet, so it doesn't require that.
Yeah, so it's like
I thought that anything over 100 requires.
Zoning requires zoning.
Okay.
I thought Bill said that it was 200 was construction.
That has been changed about a year, maybe it's a year and a half ago now. It used to be 100 feet. Anything 100 feet larger would need a building permit. Now I believe it's 200 feet.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so we got to make sure we're doing apples and apples. So it's really not a building. It's like a shed.
Like a shed, exactly.
Yeah, the main difference is it has a catchment system, so it covers it. It's better for the plants to use rainwater than hose water. So these greenhouses have a catchment system for all the water, so you can water the plants with the rainwater. So there should be no runoff.
Yeah.
So with your picture, if that picture denotes exactly what you're buying, I have no problem with it, but you could apply, you know, put the plans with it at some point. But I think we can move forward with this, can't we, Alan, or not?
Well, are you asking me as chairman or personally? I mean, we could certainly move forward with it as a board.
We just have to make, as part of the resolution, that he has to supply it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'd like it to be supplied beforehand, personally. I'd like to see what I'm voting on.
Well, we have a picture, and if he's going to say that what he's buying mimics that picture, I mean, it's mostly glass or plexi, whatever it's made of, and some little struts holding it all up. We're not talking there's a second story and structural. It's you know, so that's what I'm just saying. Mr. Capo, are you representing then with that picture that's what it's going to look like?
Yeah, it's a kit that has a pitched roof, a clear plastic. Basically, I mean, the only way greenhouses work is with clear plastic all the way around it. They do make glass ones, but this is going to be an acrylic one. But yeah, I mean, a single pitched roof, clear plastic on both parts of the roof, clear plastic walls and door.
I think you should supply the model. You should supply the model number, and it's for our records, and the site. You should actually have the actual picture and engineering drawing supplied by whoever's selling it to you.
Yeah, I did put that on there. It's the Exacto Royal Victorian VI 36. I didn't actually buy it yet because I was waiting for approval. So assuming it's that, you know, assuming they didn't discontinue it, this is the one I was going to buy. If not, it's going to be very similar. Whatever this is, I mean, I assume it's still available, but
That's where you're going to be 9 by 20 with a maximum height of 180 inches. That's what you'd indicated.
108 inches. Yeah.
There you go. That's it.
20.
There you go. Exacto Royal Victorian. Okay.
Okay. Anybody else from the board?
I have a question. There's in the drawings, it has proposed dry stone landscaping wall.
That's just a stock image from the greenhouse. That's not my. The stone that's shown in that picture right now is not part of the plan. That's not part of the greenhouse.
No, but are you proposing to put in a new wall?
No.
The plan says proposed dry stone landscaping wall.
That already exists. I mean, that's I guess this survey was from. We had done some work since this survey was made. This was done at the time of the construction of the house. Was this the survey was made?
How high is that wall?
It's maybe 3 or 4 feet.
That's already a pre-existing wall, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
My only question was the drawing says proposed, so I didn't know it was existing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that was proposed at the time when the construction of the house was being done.
Which brings us to another point, and that is site plan. I'm not happy with this site plan. It doesn't show the garage. It doesn't show the portion of the what's on the road. It doesn't show the upper portion of the house, really.
Does that matter, Alan?
Well, shouldn't we have a site plan that shows what we're dealing with? I mean,
I'm not trying to be a pain here, but I actually went to the house and looked and looked in everything, and I know this is a new house. I mean, I'm not sure who the builder was, but they came in front of us, got approvals and everything. If it's something in the sense of like this little wall, I mean, you know, if we need as-built or something, well, then that's a different thing. But if it's just about this greenhouse, I mean, I don't see why we need the garage and all that unless we have complaints on it or something. But maybe open it to the public and see if there are any issues.
Well, I will in a moment.
I have a question, Tom, Mr. Capo. What's the cost of this?
The cost of the greenhouse?
Yeah.
I think they're about like $6,000.
Okay.
There anything else from the board? If not, I will open it to the public. Would anybody from the public like to comment or question this application at all? If so, please go to the bottom of your screen and in the reactions section, raise your hand. Seeing none, I will bring it back to the board. What is the pleasure of the board?
I feel that what he's trying to do there is, it's a good thing. It's environmentally friendly. I think if he comes back, you know, with the plans that are proposed, or with the details from, you said it was from Costco, Mr. Capo?
Yeah, that's where I printed this,
Right.
this off of, yeah.
Apply it with that and make sure everything's, you know, to respect of what you're saying. I see no problem with this whatsoever.
Anybody else?
Yeah, so I'd like to move it as planned.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Mr. Gaffney?
Yes.
Mrs. Crock?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Toppin?
Yes.
Councilman Schindler?
Yes.
Mayor Francis?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
No. Okay, Mr. Capo, you have permission.
Okay, thank you.
You are
Appreciate
very
your
welcome.
time.
Did you want to do this right away?
That was the plan, yeah. I mean, growing season is going to be here soon, so.
All right, then you might want to ask for a waiver of memorialization.
Okay, can I have a waiver of memorialization?
Would somebody like to move that?
I'll move that.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Gaffney?
Yes.
Mrs. Crock?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Toppin?
Yes.
Councilman Schindler?
Yes.
Mayor Francis?
Yes.
Mr. Capo, you can get building permits beginning tomorrow from the from Bill. Yeah.
The construction department.
Construction department. That's the one.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, good luck to you, Mr. Capo.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Okay. And third, we have LH Boathouse, Block 70111, Lot 37, 6 Thompson Lane. Applicant would like to install a flagpole atop the existing steel well casing that had previously been covered with an ornamental well. And there are variances. Is there somebody here representing LH Boathouse?
Yes, I am, sir. Ronald S. Heyman from Heyman and Fletcher on behalf of LH Boathouse, and Mr. David Franco is also present tonight.
Okay, is Mr. Franco going to be?
He is going to be testifying. David, unmute yourself.
Unmute. And
Here we go. Oh, I got it. David, you got to unmute yourself here.
yep, and
There we go. There we go.
raise your
That's
right
okay.
hand, please, so you can be sworn in.
You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
State your name.
Say good day, David.
David Franco.
Franco?
Correct.
And are you a member of the LLC? How is it affiliated with the applicant, Mr. Heyman?
It's an LLC. It's LH Boathouse. He's the sole member of the LLC. Mr. Chairman, this is the property located at 6 Thompson Lane, Block 70111, Lot 37, your R1 zone. You're correct. There is a section of your ordinance 242-15B4, which states that a flagpole cannot exceed the height of the building or 20 feet, whichever is greater. We presented you with 2 photos. Hopefully you both have those photos, because as I go through the testimony of Mr. Franco, as well as the report from Mr. Rushke and the Lake Hopatcong Commission, the photos will be much better, very beneficial to where we're headed. So hopefully everybody has those photos. I think you do. I was Danielle's collator, so I know that they should all be there since I personally collated the files. So
I've got them.
okay. So Mr. Franco, everybody have them? Thank you. So Mr. Franco, we appeared before this board way back in 2018, correct? And you are the owner of this particular boathouse?
Correct.
You took these two photos, am I correct?
I did.
One photo actually has like a yellow streak on it, and that's where you proposed the flagpole, am I correct?
That's correct.
And the other photo shows the house to your left, which is a very large house that sort of obscures any flagpole that you would want to put up there, am I correct?
That's right. That's to the left if I was on the lake looking towards the shore.
Right. And your house, if you're looking at the flagpole, the picture with the flagpole in yellow is to your right. That's your house.
The blue house, correct, yes.
Blue house, correct. And so the board's clear. What's existing in that location that you want to put the flagpole?
Yeah, there is an existing, there's actually two, but that right underneath that yellow line is an existing 4-inch steel casing that served as an anchor to support the previous boathouse that was cantilevered over the water.
You would just be utilizing that particular location. There'd really be no construction work. You'd be putting the flagpole on that, correct?
Literally putting the flagpole on that, that's right.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to just, Mr. Rushke's report dated March 4th, 2021. I'm going to work a little backward because I think the only thing I have to talk about really is under the technical review number 1 and 2. So if you don't put you want a 35-foot flagpole, otherwise I assume your flagpole will be obscured. You won't be able to see the flag.
That's correct.
From where? Well, you can't see, would not be able to see the flag from where, please?
David, certainly, I assume from part of the roadway, you won't be able to see it.
The roadway? Okay.
Roadway, or if you were...
well, I don't think you could see, well, which roadway? Are we talking about Lakeside Boulevard or I'm talking about Thompson Lane?
That's right.
Thompson Lane.
Thompson, okay.
Yeah, we're on Thompson Lane.
And a 35-foot high flagpole would be visible from Thompson Lane, you think?
From my estimations, yeah.
Okay.
And the house next to you is I don't know, we've measured it, but it appears to be significantly higher than with the topography. I mean, let's strike that. The topography where your topography sinks down a little bit, which is part of the reason why you need this additional height so that the flag is visible. Am I correct?
That's right.
Now, Mr. Rushke wanted us to address, and we located and we forwarded to you the DEP regulation, regulation 7:13-7.10, permit by Rule 10. I just want to go through that. That's entitled the General Construction Activities located outside of the flood zone. And that says that the permit by Rule 10 authorizes general construction activities located outside a flood hazard area in a riparian zone, provided the conditions at NJAC 7:13-6.7 are met. So let me go through those. There's only 4 of them, people. One is you're not doing any fuel tank, solar panel, or underground utility line that conveys a gas or liquid is constructed, correct?
That's correct.
There's not going to be any disturbance located within 25 feet of any top of any bank. Am I correct?
That's correct.
There's no clearing, cutting, removal of any riparian zone vegetation, correct?
Correct.
And it will not. The project that we're proposing will not result in a net loss of anything. So that's we also comply with that particular condition. Am I correct?
Correct.
And today or yesterday, someone forwarded to me, probably Danielle, I did receive the report from the Lake Hopatcong Commission. That's dated April 2nd. And reviewed that. I think if all of you have reviewed that, there's really nothing in there that applies to this requested relief.
No, but the recommendations are noted, and we don't use any fertilizer on the property, and I think this is part of the final touches we'd like to do on the property. So to put some native vegetation in between the flagpole and the lake is probably something that's next on the list.
I think, Mr. Chairman, I don't really have much else unless there's some questions from the board or any of your professionals.
I have a few questions, yes. Mr. Frank, you said there's a base there already, correct? That was holding up a boathouse?
That's correct.
Okay. And this flagpole will be attached to that base? I assume it's going to be bolted in?
That's correct.
Okay. Mr. Rushke, is there any problem with that kind of any engineering problem with that whatsoever?
Yeah, there's not, I'm just not giving me enough details, but I'm sure, that, if it's an existing casing and they're sliding the pole in, if they're bolting it in, I'm sure it's going to be structurally sound, but really don't have enough details to really render any more comment.
Okay. And this is your private property, right, Mr. Franco?
Owned through the LLC, LH.
Okay. So is this going to be like a business flag you're hoisting there?
No, this is personal use and family use.
Right. Okay. Okay. But it's not a
American flag.
It's going to be an American flag.
Correct.
I have no more questions.
I have a question. Is it 35 feet from the bottom of the wall or the height of the pole from the top where you're mounting it?
The casing sticks out of the ground about 2.5, 3 feet, and the 35-foot flagpole would be mounted on top of that.
So you're really talking about something that's 38 feet from ground up.
That's a great question, and I think it's the correct assessment, yes.
So, Mr. Franco, let me ask you a question. The height of the pole, if the pole fell down towards the White House, which is your neighbors, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Would it be, because it's tough to judge on your layout on the plans, would it cross the property line and would it hit their house?
It would cross the property line, and whether it would, I have not measured if it would, but my guess is it might, but it's pretty much equidistant between my house and his house.
And David, did you spoke to your neighbor about this particular pole? Did he have any? I think he had some comments that he had told you he had no problem with this.
He said he had no problem and he was willing to join. I didn't ask him to join, so I don't know if he's on or not. But he said he had
obviously we can't accept that testimony. You know that.
No hearsay testimony, Bill, today?
Not today.
Okay, thank you. Just checking.
No. Want to see if I'm awake.
Well, you are. I see it.
Anybody else from the board?
What's the diameter of the flagpole?
The bottom of the flagpole, I believe, is 6 inches, 6 and change, just shy of 7 inches, and at the top, about 3 inches, just shy of 3 inches. My recollection.
Is it solid or hollow?
It's a hollow fiberglass, severe weather.
Okay.
Flagpole.
And what size is the flag going to be? The flag itself?
Yeah, I haven't even gotten that far. I'd like to have as big as a flag as I could put on it. I don't know, and I don't have the flag yet.
So this is being purchased from a commercial supplier that sells flagpoles that are designed to meet certain stresses, and they have a recommendation of a flag size, I assume.
That's right. There's they do recommend the flag sizes. Okay. And you know what, I may have.
Are you going to have an eagle at the top?
I would love an eagle, but I believe the flagpole comes with a gold ball. But I would love it. Okay. That would be great.
Anything else from the board? The testimony, number 2 on Mr. Rushke's report said testimony should be provided why the height is extended to 35 feet. We're really talking about 38 feet now, and I'm not satisfied with the testimony.
Well, let me ask him some more questions then about that. obviously, we already talked before, the property slopes downward from your neighbor, correct? So there's that reduces the size as to any pole you could put in there. Am I correct? At least the 20-foot pole would be basically obscured, correct?
That's right.
And your neighbor's house, which if you look at the peak there, he could put a pole up there that would go probably in excess of 35 feet. If you measured from on the one picture where you see the rock on the bottom there and you go all the way up, he'd be up. I can't even imagine how high up the peak is. So you need this just so you have some visibility. Am I correct?
Correct.
And when you put the flag where it is, it'll obviously be visible from Thompson Lane, but also be visible from the lake. Am I correct?
Absolutely. That's my hope, yes.
And the purpose to have it to the 35 feet is it'll be obviously much more aesthetically pleasing in the surrounding area than something that could be no more than 20 feet that may not be as visible.
Correct.
Mr. Gilbert, I don't really have anything more. I hope I satisfied some of your questions.
Not really. I'm not sure that even 35 feet is going to be that visible from Thompson Lane. I mean, if you're interested in being visible from the lake, that's one thing, but from Thompson Lane, that is one heck of a slope going up to that house. So I'm not even sure if a 35-foot or 38-foot is going to be visible from Thompson Lane. And if it was, I don't know that anybody would even notice it.
It's definitely going to be visible from the lake. It's pretty much at lake level.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I
think that just the fact that the flag is going to fly is a plus for me.
Yeah, I'd hope that would be more than enough. But
Well, as a veteran, that's not enough.
well,
Right, seriously, as a Vietnam veteran, that's not enough for me. I mean, you could put flags any place.
We can go higher. I'd be up for that.
well, I mean, you have an ordinance that allows somebody to put a flagpole up to the existing height of your home. His home is smaller in size, so he's sort of restricted by what he can put up. I mean, it's sort of a strange ordinance in that the neighbor can put up his flag that's going to go much higher than my client could put a flag up. If you look at the size of his house, it's just a peculiarity of the structures. And if you look at the location of the flag, perfectly in the middle of the two properties.
Yeah, but it's pretty far back from the lane as well.
Yes, I'm not so sure how visible it'll be from the lane. It'll certainly be something pleasing to the boaters and to the lake, and I think it dresses up the property. I mean, I don't see how the flag couldn't dress up both of the properties. But I'm sorry, I don't know really else to give you. I don't have any other reasons than what we've stated at this point.
Okay. All right, let me.
Hey, Alan.
Yes. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, why don't you open it up and see if the neighbor is here to say anything bad?
Yep, let me open this.
Yeah, if he's okay with it.
Would anybody from the public like to comment or question this application at all? Anybody at all from the public? If so, please go to the bottom of your screen to reactions and raise your hand. Seeing none, I will bring it back to the board.
I'll make a motion to approve the flagpole.
I will second.
I'll second it.
Mr. Gaffney?
Yes.
Mrs. Crock?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
yes.
Mr. Tappan?
Yes.
Councilman Schindler?
Yes.
Mayor Francis?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
Abstain.
Thank you, everybody. I just ask one question, Mr. Gilbert. David, do you want to try to start this process immediately and ask for a waiver so that we can do that, or do you just want to wait till Mr. Haggerty gets the resolution done?
That would be great if we can.
Can I make that request, Mr. Gilbert? At least he can get his permitting process in.
Would somebody like to make a motion to waive memorialization?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Mr. Gaffney?
Yes.
Mrs. Crock?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Tappan?
Yes.
Councilman Schindler?
Yes.
Mayor Francis?
Yes.
Mr. Franco, you can go and get permits from the building department at any time starting tomorrow morning.
Excellent.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Heyman and Mr. Franco.
Mr. Gilbert, if I can have 1 second. Hey, John, are you in the office tomorrow? I need to speak to you about something in NetCong. Are you in?
Yes.
Okay, I'll call you tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay, thank you again.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.
God bless
Okay.
America. Yay.
Zoning officer, do you have a report for us?
Nothing tonight.
Okay. Is there any discussion necessary?
Yes, Alan, actually, you brought something up before with Capo's property, and I didn't mean to shut you down, but it brings up a good point. You, I think, were looking for a full survey, okay?
Right.
And I want to ask Bill Donegan. Bill, when he brought this stuff in and you know the property, did you see anything that was askew or wrong with the property from when they built it?
No. Truthfully,
Okay.
I did not go down and walk the property. And quite frankly, I'm not sure we've done the as-built yet. Of course, if we did the as-built, naturally I would, would have had to review it, but I don't recollect doing that yet.
Okay, so Alan, technically, I think you were looking for an as-built?
Yes,
Is
I
that
think
what you're
so.
leaning toward? Okay, so then where do we go from here to make sure that Mr. Capo does do the as-built and bring it to you and Bill and make sure it happens?
The scenario, very basically, again, I don't recollect doing the as-built. I may have definitely done it. And what precipitates that is the final CO on the final complete CO on the property. I'll double check tomorrow and see where we're at.
Well, obviously he's living in there, so he has to have a CO unless someone messed up. But so if you could look into it and make sure that it is done, that'd be great. And that's it.
Okay.
That I have.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Rich.
Yep. You're welcome, Alan.
Any other items for discussion? Correspondence. We had a couple of pieces of correspondence from the Lake Hopatcong Commission. The one about the Thompson Lane property was mentioned by their attorney. There's also one from one reference to Mr. Capo's property, and basically it just says that they should be careful of the rainwater catchment system, that it doesn't work full year round. Escrow refunds, there are none. Should we pay the bills?
Pay the
Please
bill.
pay the bills.
Pay the bills.
Pay the bills.
Mr. Gaffney?
Yes.
Mrs. Crock?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Toppin?
Yes.
Councilman Schindler?
Yes.
Mayor Francis?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
Yes. I will now open the meeting to the public. Would anybody from the public like to address the board on any item at all? If so, please go to the bottom of your screen and in the reactions section, raise your hand. Seeing none, I will bring it back to the board. Is there any old business? New business? Mrs. Crock, you're going to take the place of Mr. Lejo.
Motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned. Thank
Good night,
you.
everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.